What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin with Custom Night Vision. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about bridging thermal and night vision devices. Bridging thermal and night vision devices are commonly referred to as a dual band setup. Is something that has been around for a while. It can be kind of confusing because there's a lot of components that go into it, and there's little caveats with each component that you add to a system. Historically, there's been a lot of trade-offs depending on which pieces or which components you pick. So we're going to start with kind of what it is and why you would want to set up a binocular system like this. And then we're going to talk about the different components associated with it. First, let's talk about what a dual band setup is. So like I kind of outlined in the intro, a dual band setup is going to consist of both a night vision monocular and a thermal monocular. Typically, they're paired together on some sort of bridge, and these come in varying shapes, sizes, colors, flavors, whatever you want to call them. Every different bridge option has different features and limitations, so it's something you need to be aware of. Each thermal monocular and night vision monocular comes with their own caveats or limitations or things you need to work around also. The mark of a really good bridge system is that it allows you to merge these two systems together in the most seamless fashion possible. So transitioning to why would someone be interested in something like this? It doesn't seem ideal because these devices weren't really designed to work together. But essentially, when you configure a night vision monocular and a thermal monocular in a kind of setup like this, you're getting the best of both worlds at the same time. You can actually save quite a bit of money going this route. So instead of buying dedicated binoculars and a handheld scanner or a rifle mounted thermal, you've got your thermal right here in front of your face as well as your night vision. So you're going to be able to utilize all of the advantages of situational awareness and navigation with your night vision system and all of the, call it target or threat identification that you're used to getting with your thermal monocular. There are some trade-offs to this, and a lot of them can be offset with the different components you add together, but some thermal devices have more latency than their night vision counterparts, something to be aware of. Some thermals are configured in a way that don't allow you to get a common eye box between the two devices. So if you can find a bridge that allows you to manipulate that, that's very nice as well. So like I was kind of alluding to, sometimes this can come at some slight comfort expense to the user. It takes a very specific kind of person to be able to use both of these at the same time. I have a significant amount of time behind a dual band setup like this, as sometimes I utilize a similar system for a hunting application, and my brain will not reconcile the two images together. As much as I've tried to mess with the eyepiece on my night vision device to collimate them, it really just doesn't work with my brain. However, I know some guys that use a similar system for hours and hours a night and they have no problems. I'd be willing to pay for them to get an MRI to see what's going on in the brain because, man, it's got to be chaos. I'm talking to you, Angel, Sandy Creek. I don't know how you do it, dude, but that shit's crazy. We've talked about, what it is and why you might be interested in it. Let's focus on the components now. So a system like this obviously is going to consist of a thermal, a night vision device, and a bridge. The previous video we did on this some time ago, maybe even a couple years ago now, the market has changed significantly. Some of the thermal devices are no longer available or have been updated significantly. Some of the night vision devices, it's kind of the same story. And the bridges that we really liked at the time are either no longer available or have really been outclassed by some of the things that are now available. So the first bridge here I have on the table is the Raven Group bridge. These come in a few different flavors. This one I'm holding here is set up for two PVS 14s bridged together or two night vision binoculars. It's kind of a standard night vision J-arm with your attachment screw there. They offer these in other configurations. This one's got a little shoe for a thermal monocular. I think one that would utilize kind of a mum style rail. And then the other arm here is for a night vision monocular. And they actually have another version that for some reason I don't have one here in the office, but it's a similar style J-arm than this, but it has a little bit more of a profile to it. And it's designed to attach directly to like an RH25 or an AGM Stinger. It is a hard mount, it is not QD, but the big advantage to this bridge system is the reduction in price. So this is roughly half the price of other comparable bridges on the market. It is very nice for what you get. Construction seems adequate. The material is fine. The dovetail seems to be in spec on all the ones that I've checked, and that's kind of like a big pro, because you would be surprised how often dovetails on accessories like this are not really in spec. So these are good to go. We have those available on our website. The next option I want to talk about, and really the one I recommend if you can afford it, is this guy right here. This is the new Noise Fighters QD1. This one gives you like a whole host of features and adjustments that I really feel are beneficial if you're going to run a setup like this. You have not only IPD adjustment, but really individual IPD adjustment on each channel. So there's a little set screw here in the top of this shoe, if you will, the male part of this dovetail system. And this female dovetail receiver can slide independently on both sides. It does articulate on both sides, and it has a very simple dovetail interface. When you buy one of these, if you plan on using a night vision monocular, you will need to purchase the appropriate J-arm. You can't use like a standard J-arm that you may already have with your monocular. The dovetail on that J-arm is going to be offset for center mounting like on a G24. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I'll just go ahead and throw this on this helmet to show you that if you were to use this J-arm on this G24, it would put the thermal monocular squarely in front of your forehead, and that doesn't really work. You have to remember that you're offsetting this to one side. So these come in two configurations, right or left. I tell most people if money's not a problem, go ahead and buy both so you can switch them back and forth if you need to. You may be able to get away with using a right on the left. I've done this in a pinch. Not really a big deal. Because you have this IPD adjustment, you can really put it wherever you want. But again, don't take my word for it. The J-arms themselves are not prohibitively expensive. So, if you got the money, just go ahead and get both. On this J-arm, there's a little screw here, and you can adjust the distance between your eye and the actual eyepiece by loosening the screw and sliding the dovetail fore or aft. As far as thermal monoculars go, depending on which one you go with, if it doesn't come with some kind of dovetail adapter in the box, you will need to get one. A lot of them come with them, some of them don't. This RH25 has a dovetail shoe on it right now that we sell here, and it just snaps right in just like anything else would. As far as components for mounting all the devices, that's really what you need: a bridge, some kind of dovetail solution for each monocular, and then obviously you'll need a helmet and a mount if you plan on helmet mounting it. So for the night vision spectrum, as you're aware, if you've been watching any of our videos, any night vision monocular that you can think up, configure with tubes, optics, housing, we have those all in stock. Pretty much everything on the market we can build for you. As it pertains to thermals, there are a few things that are no longer available if you're referencing our last video, and there's a few new options that we're kind of excited about for different reasons. So the RH25 V2, I think we did a video for this by itself, is an improvement over the previous generation, and this has really become kind of the gold standard for a do-it-all thermal monocular. They increased the size of the eyepiece here, which I think was a big improvement. And overall, this is just a really good thermal monocular. It is a little bit more on the expensive side as it compares to other, imported thermal options. The other one that we're pretty excited about and we think is a good option for people trying to get into this at a lower cost is the Strides, the ST3 and ST6 Lite. We did a video on both of those just recently, and it comes with a dovetail right out of the box. So if you buy one of these, you just attach it. It's got a little thumb screw, and you can throw it right on your bridge. There are some other thermal monoculars available that we do sell. If you want to spend a whole lot of money, the Oasis slash Trigicon Skeeter line of thermals are very good for this kind of application, but for most people they're going to be prohibitively expensive. Unfortunately, the Nox 18, something we championed in the last video, is no longer available as Envision is not building thermals at the moment. It's very sad because those are some of my favorites, but it is what it is. This is going to be pretty solid replacement for the Nox 18. It actually does some things that the Nox 18 doesn't do in the way it has, clip-on capability. I actually use one of these as a handheld scanner almost exclusively, and I don't have enough good things to say about it. There are a few other options that will be available in the future. We just don't know when yet, so we don't really want to talk about them, but stay tuned for that. I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video. There's a lot of other pieces and components and different ways you can configure these bridges with accessories. If you have any questions about that, please contact us. It can be frustrating and confusing. I don't want anybody to kind of lose sight of what they're trying to do. Just reach out to us and we can go through this together. I've actually had many customers call me and I've assembled different bridge configurations to make sure everything worked together for them before they purchased or had an order shipped to them. That is something we are more than willing to do, as this stuff can get pretty confusing. The noise fighter stuff especially, they've done a pretty good job standardizing their offering and making kind of a fully compatible ecosystem. A lot of these bridges, you can pull the arms off and add arms from other versions of the bridge. They have versions that pan, versions that don't. So like I said, it can be overwhelming and confusing. If you have any specific questions, you can put them right here in the comments. Like I've said a couple times now, just give us a call. Our phone number's on the website, customnightvision.com. Hit us up on any of the social media accounts, or just show up. I'm just kidding, don't do that. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.